Hello? Does anyone know where Jake is? I'm just kidding. He's on his way. Good morning, everyone. Who's ready for the shit show? I know I sure am. Edwin Sup, Darth Brando, yo, Seth Groder, Daniel, Darth Brando. Daniel, welcome back. You got that gifted membership from Smile last night, right? Cheers. Bobby Z, member of the Token Creatures for 19 months. That means right now you're getting plus 19, plus 19, in addition to the Trample, Haste, Indestructible, Vigilance, and First Strike. You're formidable. I will warn you, though, if you're a token creature, we do have to sacrifice one of you at the beginning of each of our upkeeps, so look out for that. D-Buck, what's up? Darren, what's up? TV, what's up? Italian, what's up? Yeah, dude, this is gonna be most likely nothing at all. Nothing at all is kind of a statement, though, in and of itself, though, right? Mega Brand, member of the Token Creatures for 4 months. Member of the Token Creatures for 4 months. Mega Brand getting +4/+4 in addition to our anthems of First Strike, Vigilance, Haste, Trample, Indestructible. Sushi Yum Yum's also joining the Token Creatures. Congratulations. Oh, Sushi, you come with this creature can't be sacrificed. You're in the right place. In recompense for our wrongdoings, we will be sending everyone a beta, an alpha Black Lotus that we all personally peed on. What? We don't want that one. No, thank you. And just announcing, this afternoon, the Magic 30 store will be back open. Everything will be sold at twice the price now. Did you miss it the first time? Don't want to miss it the second time. Are you feeling the FOMO? Can you breathe right now? Where's your wallet? Why is your credit card suddenly in your hand? Oh my God. Y'all know we got to get the other half of the channel in here, right?
Can you...
Everybody say hey to Jake.
The music is very loud. Is there any way you can turn the music down a little bit for me?
Okay, so this is the problem of sharing the application, because that's going to turn it too low for the stream most likely. I'm going to go ahead and pull it down. For some reason, it sends you the music as well. But it's all good. We got the UBS Fireside Chat pulled up here. We had to sign in with an email and a name. I signed in as Gerard Capassion, so they've got their MTG characters. Good morning, everyone.
So the music that's playing, this is on the Hasbro site?
No, this is the stream music.
Oh,
I don't think they would be playing, royalty free. Harris Heller.
Never mind. I didn't know.
I think when I share a window, it shares all of Chrome, and so any sound coming out of anything Chrome is going to come to you. Rob P joining the Token Creatures. We got a lot of Token Creatures today. Thank you very much. If you want to join the Token Creature, get your name in green, little badge next to your name. Clicking that join button right next to subscribe down there will be the best way to do it. Let's see if this thing has started. Okay, let's see if I can figure out how to make this work.
Oh, Kitchen Table TCG is streaming this as well. All right, so this is essentially what it's like when a company goes out to do damage control. I'm going to pull up their stock price.
I'm assuming they just haven't quite started yet because I'm not getting any audio.
Ooh, look at that. It's pumping. Little pump with the SPY this morning. Let's look at its 5-day chart. Oh, yeah, look at it. It looks like shit. So 1 month is pretty good. It's down to 55 on the 26th.
Okay, I'm seeing some other people in chat also saying, all right, it seems like they haven't started yet, but we're just going to be prepared for this.
For joining us today, everyone.
Here we go.
I'm Arpine Kocharian, leisure and gaming analyst with UBS, and we are really excited to have with us for a fireside chat Chris Cox, Chief Executive Officer of Hasbro, and Cynthia Williams, President of Wizard of the Coast and Digital Gaming, and Debbie Hancock, Head of Investor Relations at Hasbro. The focus of this call is going to be Hasbro's franchise brand, Magic the Gathering, and Hasbro's long-term strategy for its gaming business. Excuse me. But before I go any further, as an investment analyst, I'm required to provide certain disclosures relating to the nature of my own relationship and that of UBS with any company on which I express a view on this call today.
Power 9
These
right now, that'd be
disclosures
hilarious.
are available at ubs.com/disclosures, or please reach out to me and I can provide them to you after this call. Also, there will be no discussion of any confidential, restricted, or material non-public information on this call. This is only a 30-40 minute call, so we might not have time to open the lines for Q&A, but feel free to send me questions by email if we don't address them on the call. With all of that out of the way, Chris, Cynthia, Debbie, welcome, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having us, Arpine.
Thanks. Wonderful.
It's great to be here.
Thank you, Debbie. And I know you need to read some disclosures before we begin. Is that?
Yeah, I also have to do a short disclosure. So thank you for having us today. Just before we begin, I want to remind everyone that we may make some forward-looking statements. Our management team may make forward-looking statements concerning our expectations, goals, objectives, or similar matters, and that there are many factors that could cause actual results or events to differ materially from the anticipated results or other.
All right, Jake, what keywords are we looking for on our bingo card today? Vision, profit,
Form 10K, our most recent 10Q, and other
I'm looking for
community.
Talk about some actual MTG.
Chat, let me know what keywords we're looking for our bingo board today.
Thank you, Debbie. Chris, why don't we start with you? You've been CEO of Hasbro since February. Obviously, unprecedented times, middle of a global pandemic, supply chain challenges and disruptions.
We forgot about supply chain challenges too.
Could you please update us on Hasbro's kind of branded entertainment strategy? How is that different from what that strategy was before?
Yeah, well, hey, first off, thanks so much for having us. It's great to be on and be able to share a little bit of insight on the company, and particularly one of our favorite brands, Magic the Gathering. I think Cynthia will have a wealth of information to share on that. So in terms of our corporate strategy, the new strategy that we rolled out in October, we call Brand Blueprint 2.0. It's a continuation and an evolution of the successful blueprint strategy that we've been deploying for a little over a decade, which is all around the concept of engaging and surrounding the consumer with a host of great play and storytelling experiences that build our brands, build our relationship with the consumer, and help us build a profitable and healthy business. You know, where I think the big points on the pivot on the strategy are in a couple areas. First off, we're shifting from a bit more of a breadth strategy with our old strategy to be more focused on a depth strategy. We call it fewer, bigger, better brands. Hasbro has over 1,500 IP in our portfolio, and we're really going to focus
including Trailer Park Boys,
8 to 10 brands, and really grow them. And those brands are going to be in places that we have a lot of strength as a company, gaming being a big one, where we believe we could be the leader in the category, where we can drive above category growth, and where we can drive really nice profit profiles over the mid and long term. The second aspect of the strategy is a focus on the consumer and really doubling down on our consumer insights, on understanding our consumers, and then also how we communicate with our consumers, increasing our A&P budgets, driving new and innovative experiences with the consumer, surrounding them with a host of engagement opportunities, whether that's big budget movies like we have with the upcoming D&D Honor Among Thieves movies,
or for the movie
video games like we have with Magic the Gathering Arena. And then last but not least, the strategy is a focus on discipline, really driving incremental operational excellence as a company so that we can pair the fantastic creativity and design we have with, stronger cost management. And we believe that we're going to be able to accrue significant value of that. In October, we talked about a goal to generate $250 to $300 million of cost savings annually over the next 3 years. We believe we're on track to do that and potentially even exceed that. And, I think that's just good business, whether or not it's healthy economic times or more challenging economic times. It'll position Hasbro to be able to invest in our brands and deliver more cash to shareholders. I think when you put it all together, what Blueprint 2.0 really is it's a redoubling and a refocusing on our traditional mission of play.
Redoubling.
Hasbro is going to celebrate our 100th anniversary next year. We have this portfolio of amazing brands, and we've built those brands through play, starting as early as the ages of 2 to 3 and extending on into adulthood. And Blueprint 2.0 puts our focus squarely on our biggest brands with our best consumer insight and driving a little bit more discipline.
Chat, so right now, this is the CEO of Hasbro talking. We haven't even gotten to the MTG part yet.
That was great for opening, Chris. Thank you. Cynthia, as Chris mentioned, Hasbro has a strong gaming portfolio unparalleled really in the industry, making up a significant portion of profits for the overall company. Could we talk about your largest brand, Magic the Gathering? And could you start by giving us a brief overview of where that business is today? And then I have a quick follow-up for you, Cynthia.
Sure. Well, thank you, Arpane, for having us. First of all, it's my pleasure to talk about Magic. It is really an amazing game with an incredible fan base. Magic was created in 1993, and it's the world's first trading card game. Been played by over 50 million players to date in over 200 countries. The gameplay is highly strategic.
All right, so she's starting by reading the Wikipedia article for Magic the Gathering.
Players take turns doing battle against each other by spells,
okay. Everybody, while she's talking about this, can we get likes to 169, please?
Cards that the player draws from their personalized
No
deck.
One could
Magic
on
also
just saying it's a collectible card game. It's lasted since 1993.
Cards or the number of cards a player uses in their deck. Some of those formats are more competitive and some are more casual.
This is just the Wikipedia for MTG. She's just making sure the old investors are caught up.
We release new cards through expansion sets multiple times a year.
Webster defines collectible.
Limitless combination that players can use to suit their different play styles, and that all leads to a very high level of customization by the player.
Yeah, what's up?
That's fantastic, Cynthia. When we think about Hasbro, we frequently think about kids, but Magic is not typically played by kids. What can you tell us and people on the call about the Magic player today and how that has been evolving?
Oh, here we go.
Sure. We know a lot about our players. Multiple times a year, we survey tens of thousands of Magic fans on a variety of topics related to the game. The Magic active tabletop player on average is 30 years old. Players range from about 13 years old to over 45. I think it's important to know that 1/3 of our players have less than 3 years of experience with the game, and another third has been playing for more than 10 years. And so you end up with this wide range of engagement. We also look at how and why they play. We've seen growth in casual players, who we estimate represent about 80% of the player base, with the competitive player representing the remaining. And this single insight has really led to a major rethinking of our offering and how to serve our growing and more diverse
Please stop spamming. Last warning.
Players and fans participate across multiple segments, and they overlap. For example, in the casual segment, the format that's most popular and played by more than 70% of our players is a social format called Commander. It's played by 4 players at a time, and it has a really unique and cooperative rule set. And we do specific product releases to maximize this fan engagement. Over half of our players identify as social players, meaning that they enjoy the game for the social experience. And about 50% are collectors of some kind, whether it be buying the cards for a themed commander deck, strictly for aesthetic purposes,
It's just
or as
passionate
an
about the
outlet
game,
for
but
self-expression through their
gets kinda
gameplay. And finally, I'd say we have
crazy
over
in chat.
10 million registered digital players with Magic Arena. And in the past few years, our fastest growing
nice
category
chat.
of
We got to
Magic
1,000
players are
viewers.
the
Can we get to
hybrid players,
369
meaning they
likes?
play on both digital and tabletop.
And also, if you are enjoying the stream,
And
click
this
like and
group
subscribe.
tends to have the
What you're
highest
hearing right now is
satisfaction rates with
Magic
game
the Gathering's
and the highest level of
CEO
spending. In fact, they
talk
spend
about
40% more
demographics.
than the average
Basically, she's
revenue
laying the
of
foundation
Magic
right
players
now.
of all
Hopefully, this is the
expressions.
boring part.
I
That
think this
was
is the boring
just
part.
great. I don't think I've
They
ever
need to
heard
talk about
this much of good
player
color
sentiment.
on kind of
For
the
sure.
That's what I
player
want to hear today.
profile. So
Collector
this was super
sentiment.
helpful. Thank you. My next question is for both Chris and you, Cynthia. Chris, you were leading Wizards
Tactics.
until earlier this year.
90% of this game
Could
is
you talk to us
50%
about how
mental.
you grew that business? And then Cynthia, one of the key questions I get on Magic is that after an incredible run of 4 or 5 years of above average growth and arena rollout, that business is much bigger today. So if you were to recap what's next for Magic and how you
Here we
grow
go.
that business going forward, because every gaming company on investors' minds saw uptick during COVID and now seeing the reversal of that. Why could MTG be different, and how you intend to grow that business going forward?
Sure. So I'll start off. So, Magic has been, gosh,
Here we
I
go.
would argue one of the biggest success stories in the games category over the last probably decade. I was fortunate enough to start in the business in 2016 after the business had grown, I think, for 7 straight years. We had started to see a little bit of a plateauing in that growth in 2014 and 2015. And so we started to really understand, okay, why was that? And in 2016, when Magic, was probably around 350-ish
Probably
million
the growth of
dollars,
Commander.
maybe $400 million at that time. We really had a monolithic view of the player. We thought there was one player, it was the competitive player. And we knew that there were other player segments that existed, like casual players and collectors. But we honestly were a little afraid that if we built products that deviated at all from our traditional approach of appealing to the competitive player, that we would hurt the business. And what we found was actually the opposite. If we were able to segment our player profiles in just really simple ways, so call it the competitive player, the social player, and the collector, and build products that were bespoke to each of them, we could make that each of those segments happier. We could engage them more. We could get more of their time and more of their share of wallet, and grow the business as a whole. And as a result, over that intervening 6.5 year period, we've probably either tripled or come close to tripled the overall Magic business. And we've been able to do it across a wide set of products, a wide set of segments that have made the business
Zach, thank you for the super chat. It's about to go away, so I just want to address it. Trying to listen though. Sorry, man. Thank you.
Where we've been able to balance new player growth with lapsed player reacquisition, because there's probably like close to 60
and also
million
Dragon
people
Rider
in
with the
world
$10.
who have ever played Magic. So actually people coming back to Magic is just as important to us as new players who've never played it before, as well as driving a little bit of revenue growth per user through that segmentation approach, which has been good for us, and it's been good for our channel partners, whether that's hobby stores, mass stores, or e-commerce partners like Amazon.
Great.
Cynthia,
And
I'll turn the
I don't know
second
if
part of the
Cynthia,
question maybe over to you.
Yeah.
Lots of subscriptions coming in, so thank you so much.
Our plans to continue to grow Magic, especially in 2023 and beyond. And I will say we do have some good tailwinds that are aiding us. Primarily that we are seeing this bold return to in-person play. Magic really thrives on that face-to-face interaction that wasn't able to happen during the pandemic. Our in-store play participation numbers are trending up, and they're already back
means
to
she has gas. She's got good
where they
tailwinds.
were pre-pandemic.
That's
We
right.
recently organized the largest ever in-person event in Magic's history. We had over 10,000 players gather in person in Las Vegas to kick off our 30th anniversary celebration. It was such an encouraging and fun fan event. And we plan on having 4 more of those Magic Cons next year. Our first one will be in Philadelphia on February 17th through the 19th.
Sucks to see my
we've
passion.
been releasing 6 tentpole sets for several years. We'll do that again in 2023.
Maybe you meant die. Glad
With
you
our
are here to
new
cover it.
player acquisition strategy focused on the Universes Beyond line. This year we have the Lord of the Rings as a big tentpole release. And we also have smaller sets like Doctor Who that will attract in new players. In future years, you'll see us do the same with Final Fantasy and Assassin's Creed, which will join the franchise.
See,
and of
that's
course,
it.
we'll
She
be
just said right there.
celebrating Magic's
Secret
30th
layer,
anniversary with our fans.
crossover, attract new
Magic Cons
players.
I mentioned.
That's what it's for.
We'll be
Right.
releasing
Universes
new
Beyond.
products, and
Yep.
we're especially excited to help our trade partners and our fans by offering exclusive promo cards from each year of Magic.
Yeah, we know that.
that
We
will be
knew that
available
Assassin's Creed
exclusively through
and
our Wizards Play
Doctor Who
Network-
was coming,
Network
y'all. We already
stores
knew that.
with every
And Final
tentpole
Fantasy.
set release. Magic is bigger than
But
it's
yeah,
ever
it's
been.
cool. I
It's
love
on
Universes
pace to
Beyond. I'm
become
very
Hasbro's
on board
first
with that.
billion-dollar brand. And our surveys show that our net promoter score globally has increased to the highest point it's been at in the past 3 years.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Cynthia, maybe this is a question for you regarding Arena, which has been obviously a huge
They're
success.
still talking about
I remember back
how
in the
people
day
are gonna make
before
money.
MTG digitization,
We haven't yet
the big
addressed the
pushback or
anniversary
concern for
edition.
investors was whether there was going to be cannibalization of that business once you go digital. And now we know it is actually
I cast
additive
Chucky,
to the
redhead
business.
Rugrat.
But my question is there more to do in terms of
That's funny.
monetizing kind of the digital aspects of the Magic franchise?
Who's the guy that holds his eyes from Ah Real Monsters?
Absolutely.
I want to play
as
that
I
as my
mentioned
commander.
earlier, our hybrid players are the most engaged and they spend the most. So our efforts around Magic Digital will drive increased play and integration across both tabletop and our digital
1384
platforms.
watching. Thank you for spending your time with us this
Wizards
morning.
Play
If you are enjoying the
Network
stream,
stores are
click like and
telling us
subscribe.
that
Let's
they've
get to
seen new players
500
coming into
likes.
their
Can we
store
do it?
who are ready to join that community
I want this to be my
after
commander.
they learn to play Magic on Arena.
Joel, you're my commander.
So Magic the Gathering Arena has been a great success for us, but it still has room to grow as we continue to invest to meet the needs of that wide range of players. So in 2023, Arena will refactor our new player experience to improve onboarding for new players and help them quickly find the play experiences that appeal to them the most. This will reinforce our acquisition efforts and maximize the impact of our launch on Steam, which is the biggest gaming platform in the world outside of mobile. And it will be our largest platform expansion since our mobile launch last year. We'll continue to engage new players and longtime Magic players with our expanding product releases and our event offerings, including our first digital Universes Beyond set featuring Lord of the Rings. We've seen really great engagement with our Premier Play launch this
good
year.
confirm that that's going to be digital.
We'll see our first full year of Arena Championships and qualifier weekends, as well as our increasingly popular Arena Opens.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And Chris, maybe this is a question for you. Inflation has been top of mind for investors, and ability to take on pricing.
Who had inflation on their bingo
also
board.
has been important. And we have seen kind of more traditional toy sector take on pricing throughout the pandemic, really. But as I think about kind of price elasticity of demand for Magic, in my mind at least, that is an overall less price elastic customer versus a kind of more traditional toy consumer. First, do you think my assumption is correct? Second, do you believe pricing along with unit growth could drive Magic over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think just the straight answer to your question is yes, it tends to be a less price elastic customer, but obviously there's logical limits to that. we're very aware across our business of the pressures that the general consumer is under and the general discretionary pressure, the discretionary sector is under vis-a-vis inflation. We have taken some pricing actions across our lineup at Hasbro. And, this year we took a pricing action on about half of the Magic line. The first time we've done that in 10 years. And, we're very reluctant to do that. We've got a great brand, we've got a great product. The challenge that we've had is there's just been a lot of cost buildup inside of the general paper market. Paper pulp is more expensive, significantly more expensive than it's been over the last couple of years.
Oh, they're complaining about the price of cardboard.
Market, whether it's kind of fantasy or gamified trading cards like Magic or more sports-oriented trading cards, have seen explosive growth. So there's a fair amount of printing press demand that drives up some cost pressures. Now, all that said, when we look at how we think about growing Magic over time, Cynthia would be the expert at this, but I don't think it's about raising prices on Magic cards or raising prices on Magic packs. At the end of the day, it's about growing our player base, and it's about leaning into our segmentation strategy and adding products that our players want and have a lot of play value and collector's value.
Products that we want.
And I think Cynthia and the team have been doing a very adept job at that. Certainly we have some of the best experts in the company driving that for us.
Great, and that's actually a good segue to my question for Cynthia, which is, if it isn't price, are you releasing then more product each year? Could you sort of go through pillars of growth for Magic, and if you can briefly address D&D, but then we'll get back to D&D in a bit. But if you could just sort of go through kind of those pillars of growth as you see for Magic. And I'm sorry, some of this could be a bit of a repeat of what you said earlier, Cynthia.
Absolutely fine. Our growth is coming from both our customer and product segmentation strategy, which is backed by a lot of the data and insights into Magic's different fan bases. We have innovated and experimented more in the last 4 years than we did in the prior 26. And as a result, we're serving more player segments than ever before. And so there's been a shift in how many SKUs we release in a year. So for example, we've been on a cadence of 6 tentpole releases a year for over 3 years now. And there are major releases that have the most to offer every kind of Magic player. With each of those tentpole releases, we have expanded the number of booster product types to meet player preferences, including adding set boosters and collector boosters.
Apex, thank you for joining
the
the
Token
Creatures.
We'll have smaller print run products sprinkled between those tentpole releases that are opt-in, depending on what type of player you are and what resonates with you. So we have a collectible product line called Secret Lair, and we do some smaller sets like Infinity that fall in that category. But if I were summarizing it, I'd say our growth has come from monetizing more player segments and not just from increasing the spend of the same core set of players. And our product release schedule really reflects that.
I'm with you, Brian.
But I will say that in the second half of 2022, we had a really compressed release schedule that was partially driven by supply chain.
This is important.
Issues.
Second half of 2022.
We will not schedule tentpole releases this closely together going forward. The supply chain issue I referenced resulted in 2 micro sets releasing on the same date in October. But in 2023, we will return to our preferred release cadence of approximately 2 months between our tentpole sets, with individual micro sets sprinkled in between. You asked about D&D. Really briefly, I'll say that you'll see us leaning heavily into the expansion.
All right, so at least she acknowledged that was fucked up.
The acquisition that we did that
Not
closed
much,
this
though.
past May. We have about 13 million customers.
Oh, gut thumping, you know it.
There that we will continue to serve by giving
it's
them
air
more
hugs
ways
and
to
pats on the
express
back.
their fandom.
Fantastic. And we'll have time, hopefully, if we have time, to come back to D&D briefly after we are done sort of with Magic. But Cynthia, I have a
supply chain is the ultimate scapegoat in today's world.
There has been this claim that you're printing too many cards.
Here we go.
What is your one sentence answer to that, or maybe 2 sentences, whatever you prefer?
I'm going to go a little more than 2 sentences.
Yeah, I would love that.
Most of our Magic releases and
this is important.
are print to demand. And this means that we print and reprint products in a set to support players and customers who want to buy it, usually to play with it. And after an initial sell-in period prior to the launch of a set, all reorders after that set reflect real demand. And our average post-launch sales quantities for our tentpole premiere sets remains unchanged in 2022 compared to 2021. In aggregate, there is no evidence that Magic is overprinted, and the sentiment of Magic needs to cut print runs to support prices, that's a misunderstanding of our business and our customers.
Wow.
You know, if our prices for a print to demand product rise significantly soon after launch, well, that simply means that we're not adequately meeting customer demand, and we are making millions of players unhappy at their lack of ability to acquire the cards they want.
All right,
to play.
she invited us all to cordially suck it.
No, that's really helpful. And I do want to go back briefly to distribution, Cynthia. With all this kind of player segmentation, what is the primary way you're getting Magic product into players' hands, and how that has changed versus 5 years ago?
Sure. Our partnership with the more than 6,000 global Wizards Play Network hobby stores, that is the core sales channel for our business. It accounts for up to 70% of our sales in 22 year to date. And we are really delighted that we can support those passionate local small business owners to provide unique opportunities for our fans to engage in organized play and to build community at the local level. And this is really at the heart of our engagement strategy, and it has great benefits for both parties, as indicated by our survey data. Every year, we carry out a survey among the WPN hobby stores, and we collected feedback this year from more than 2,200 of them. It's a large representative sample, and it gives us a really good pulse on their health. And we're pleased to see that this channel continues to grow, has strong performance. More than 80% of our stores reported that they are growing or equal to last year, and over 60% report growth in their business. Now, over the last 5 years, we've continued to evolve our omni-channel retail strategy. That involves continuing to expand our footprint at retail globally, e-commerce, as well as developing our direct-to-consumer collectible offering.
Fantastic. Cynthia, maybe this is still for you. There has been some chatter, kind of secondary market for these cards, and that values are coming down because you're printing too much. Is that something that you keep track of? Is that something that concerns you?
You know, first and foremost, Magic is a deep and strategic game that is played in hobby stores, on kitchen tables, and online. So our goal is to continue to grow that player base. And as I said previously, we print and reprint products to meet demand from our players. You know, Magic will be our first billion-dollar brand this year, and we're growing that brand ahead of the industry and pushing the boundaries of where we can take the product. More often than not, we get that right, like our Universes Beyond product, Warhammer 40K, which is already on its third reprint due to demand. And sometimes we step back and we listen to customer feedback, like we did on our recent 30th anniversary
decently large
edition,
news there that
where
they're
we
still
scaled
printing
back
Warhammer
the
decks.
expected supply to assure a great collector experience. Now, that decision might not have been great for us in the short term financially, but it was definitely the right call for the long-term health of the brand, and it's good for our fans. Now, we do understand that some players focus on the collectible trading aspects of our product, and we are always thrilled to see players enjoying and valuing our product for years after the initial release. But we don't participate in the secondary market activity for Magic products, nor do we derive any revenue from trading or selling. What we do hear from some of our WPN stores that trade and sell cards after initial sale is that, like any market or any other collectible product, some products and individual cards do become more collectible than others, and values can change over time due to a multitude of external factors, many entirely unrelated to the number of cards printed. Now, we have no indication that there has been any broad negative changes to interest in trading or post-purchase selling of Magic products. It could be easy for someone who is unfamiliar with our pre-release sales strategy to draw a negative conclusion about changes in resale values shortly after the release. But the truth is that Magic products are regularly put on sale early, exclusively through our
Yeah, this sounds like Wall
stores
Street to me.
as part of a pre-release
It
program
just sounds
that
like
is
Wall Street.
designed to
It doesn't.
encourage
It sounds
in-store
like they're.
play at those
It's
stores.
no
It
information.
is common and expected for the secondary
willfully
market values
ignoring
for those new products
the
to
actual
shift
question.
dramatically
Daniel T,
Yep.
thank you for that super chat. Door to
and
nothingness,
immediately
please stop
following
spamming. Last warning.
pre-release as more products become available in the market. Those value shifts are simply supply catching up with demand.
Yeah, I do think there's a fair amount of
No worries.
misunderstanding about all of this. So thank you for that. And I am scanning through some of the questions I've been getting, but let me just sort of address
I'd love to see
one that
those
also
flying
has
in.
come up. You know, talent acquisition and retention, I know has been, and the fact that Magic has to compete with the big tech.
Basically,
is
when we're
something
like,
that Hasbro has been
are you
pretty focused
devaluing
on
everything
as
by
you,
printing too much?
build
But she went, no, you
those
don't under
teams.
fucking stand the business,
I'm wondering
idiot.
if that has eased a bit in terms of hiring and retention, given what's going on in the big tech world.
Yeah, you know, we've hired over 350 people this year at Wizards of the Coast, and given the macroeconomic climate, we are also seeing some availability of amazing talent in the market. And our attrition is low compared with other gaming companies. You know, people want to work at Wizards for a number of reasons. Primarily,
Christian, thank you for that $5 super
working on
chat.
games they love.
I've got these in a
Our
log. We'll go back and read
games
these.
have incredibly loyal, passionate fans who are excited to work on and
for sure,
help shape
Apex.
the games that they've grown up playing. And of course, it's always great to work on a business that is growing and being invested in.
Scaled back 30th to help
Great,
preserve collector
great.
value. Yeah, maybe.
And this question is perhaps both for
Fascinating
Chris
spin.
and you, Cynthia. I was wondering if you could share your vision on how you approach D&D monetization and digitization, and how that's going to be different from Magic, and really how you approach that in general. If we could give kind of an overview of that
An
in terms
overview.
of what's next for D&D and how that franchise is different
An overview.
from when
I don't
you were
want to see
looking
your
at Magic
ovaries.
back in 2017, 2018. Oftentimes, the question
Everyone,
I
if
get
you're
from
enjoying the
investors
stream,
is, how do you digitize a game that's
You can
been
enjoy
around
this
for
stream
50
without
years,
enjoying this
right?
call.
Magic, D&D is obviously older than Magic. And along with that, perhaps we can touch on how the integration of D&D and beyond is going, growth in transactions or
I
whatever
wonder if we're
you
done
could
with
share.
Magic now.
Mind
they're
if I
talking
start,
about
Chris?
D&D.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I
not
have to add is
MTG
every
D&D,
time
just
you talk
D&D
about
in
the
general.
hiring rate
Yeah.
of Wizards, I am just absolutely floored.
Monetization and
Martine, my family
digitization. They
still
want to
lives in
change the
Seattle. I
subject
live
to,
here in
we
Providence,
about to make so
and
much money
I'll go
off these
back to the
D&D
Wizards
players,
offices.
bitches. Let's go.
It's like I'm a senior. It's like I'm a graduated senior returning the next year to high school, and I don't recognize half the class.
Okay.
That
might be
it's a tribute
Magic.
to it's a tribute to
We'll
that
listen to the
business
rest
and
of
the great
this. We'll be
job
right
that the
back.
team's
If
doing
you are enjoying the
growing
stream, click
talent
like
pool.
and subscribe. If
Thank
you want to see more
Chris.
streams like this, definitely
D&D
subscribe, because we
has
will
never
have
been more
many more
popular,
like it for
and we
product
have really
announcements,
great
this kind of
fans
stuff.
and incredible engagement. But
News.
the first thing I saw
We
with it is the
streamed the
brand is
Magic
really
30 sale. If you
undermonetized.
want to catch that kind of stuff, make sure that
Earlier
you're
this year, we
subscribed.
acquired D&D
Let's get this
Beyond,
video
and we're really
to a
excited about the possibilities
unprecedented
the platform provides and the
1,069 likes. We have over
positive
2,000 people
momentum we've
watching. Can we
already
get there?
seen.
And then I'm going to start
We made this
stop talking, and you can keep listening
to
to
strengthen our
the
connection to
D&D
players
discussion.
and to power our
Be
next
right back.
phase of product development, user acquisition, and to have live service tools through which we gain really valuable data-driven insights. You know, with DDB, we have a window into how fans are playing the game daily, even if they're playing around the dining room table. Many of our D&D fans use Dungeons and Dragons Beyond as a companion app on their phone to make the experience better. And this gives us a look at how people are playing in their homes that we never had before. And so when we think about our future monetization, we start here. You know, dungeon masters, which are the people who guide you through the adventure, They only make up about 20% of the audience, but they are the largest share of our paying players. For the rest of the players at the table, we believe digital will allow us to offer a lot more options to create rewarding experiences post-sale that helps us unlock the type of recurrent spending you see in digital games, where more than 70% of the revenue in digital gaming comes post-sale. The speed of digital means that we're able to expand from what is essentially a yearly book publishing model to a recurrent spending environment. And we're offering content that we know fans
spending
want.
environment.
So we're super excited about the type of opportunities we have with D&D to expand beyond the tabletop to reach highly engaged, multi-generational fans all around the globe.
Yeah, and I think the only thing I'd add to that answer is, if you look at like a super simplified view of the strategy at Wizards of the Coast, Magic is this super deep single quadrant brand. Does a fantastic job engaging a very loyal and passionate audience. And I think our strategy at Wizards that Cynthia and the team are really leaning into is growing that engagement and growing that player base over the next several years, so that our new player growth and our reacquired player growth are really kind of carrying the growth of the brand. And you can see that in the initiatives that we're investing in, like expanding distribution of Arena. Steam is the biggest PC distribution platform in the world. That should be a nice kind of leg up for Arena. We also continue to look at other platforms like consoles as another opportunity for that. And then I can't understate.
Oh shit, was that a hint that Arena is going to be on Xbox?
And how much early success we've seen in crossovers like we did last year with D&D, which at the time was our best-selling summer set ever. And then what we did most recently with Warhammer 40K, which, as Cynthia mentioned, is on its third demand-triggered reprint. Like, we can't keep up with the demand there. And that's just a great way to kind of engage that Warhammer fan base in a very similarly deep and lore-rich game and get them activated with us. And we see a lot of upside for that, particularly with big mega brands like Lord of the Rings that we think will be important. And trust me, we have a lot more plans for that and some exciting news that I think we'll be able to share with our fans soon. So Magic's a deep single quadrant strategy.
Cox keeps yelling deep.
D&D, when I go to cocktail parties and and people ask me what do I do?
Cocktail parties.
What I used to say is, hey, I was president of Wizards of the Coast, and they'd say, what's that? And I'd say, well, we make Magic the Gathering, and then we make Dungeons and Dragons. I'd have maybe a 3 in 10 hit rate on people understanding what Magic was, but if I did, I would have an incredibly deep conversation, and the cocktail party would effectively be over for all other participants. Or like for D&D though, it was 10 out of 10. Everyone knows.
We'd go home with our chauffeurs.
70s and 80s, played the video games in the 90s and early aughts, and knows it's a cultural phenomena right now. And so, like, the D&D strategy, if the Magic strategy is a deep single quadrant strategy, the D&D strategy is a broad 4-quadrant strategy where we have this powerful brand that has similar awareness to, like,
on their bingo card,
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, and we're going to imbue it with
Harry Potter's
blockbuster
a
entertainment
IP.
like we have with the movie coming up. AAA.
Wait, did he just accidentally leak that Harry Potter's going to be a Universes Beyond
next year?
Did we already know that?
And then just an amazing set of products that we will activate as Hasbro across our blueprint. Whether that's what we're doing at D&D Beyond, what we're doing at hobby stores with new books and accessories, or what our consumer products team and licensing team are doing to build out a host of new collectibles and toys.
Stranger Things really brought D&D into the.
So as excited as I think Cynthia and I are for Magic's growth potential over the coming mid and long term, I think D&D could be a real new leg in the stool for our gaming portfolio as a whole and for Wizards specifically.
Apex, I agree.
That was great. Thank you. And
Rob P,
I
yeah,
promised
maybe
30 to 40
Strixhaven
minute
2
call,
is Harry Potter.
but let's take one more question and that's it. I'm trying to actually scan some questions to make sure I'm incorporating
God, I
what
would
I'm
love to
getting
see
by
what
email as
questions
well.
she's scanning.
And you already addressed that in some ways, right? Next year, Hasbro has a much better film slate, including the scheduled release of Dungeons and Dragons Honor
Just have
Among
Rosewater
Thieves
speak.
on March 31st, I think, 2023. How do you define success with that film outside of the obvious kind of movie proceeds and upside to that economics? What would it mean for the D&D franchise? How do you define that success?
Yeah, we got no discussion of M30.
To me,
Not yet.
the D&D film is the first big light up opportunity for that powerful 4-quadrant brand. You know, the D&D film should, by all accounts, you
Keep
feel
in
like
our
it's
4
going to have a
quadrants.
healthy box office. It's going to have significant marketing. You know, Paramount, prior to the latest Transformers, Rise of the Beast trailers that just released last week, D&D was on track to be one of the top viewed trailers ever by Paramount. Transformers took that honor most recently, so we're still happy about that. But you know, I think we're going to be able to light up D&D awareness. We're going to be able to activate that awareness with a host of products at retail, gaming, and online, and then we're going to follow it up. You know, we're going to follow it up with a host of video games that we license out and work with like great partners like Larian, with Baldur's Gate 3 that we develop ourselves, and then follow that up with a host of new entertainment. Like, to me, Dungeons and Dragons is the real poster child for Blueprint 2.0, our overall corporate engagement story, which is doubling down on play, supercharging play with great storytelling and entertainment, and focusing on a category that we're an early leader in, the best innovator in, and have every right to win and grow our profitability and grow our return to shareholders. So consider me long on D&D.
Oh, fantastic. That's a great note to end this call on.
We'll go ahead and read this.
We are
Bryce with the
actually,
$200
over
super
40 minutes,
chat.
so I
Absolute
apologize for
legend.
that.
Thank you so much.
I think we're going to
People shouldn't
conclude the
be too
call here.
surprised when small
Thank you so
companies
much.
passionate
This
about
was
their
great,
creation
Chris,
sell out to a
Cynthia,
large
Debbie, thank you so
corporation.
much
Hasbro has
for
one
making this
goal, and
possible.
magic old
And thanks
heads like
everyone for
me
joining.
knew and loved is gone.
Martina, thanks
That
so
being
much.
said, I don't see
and,
myself ever
have a happy
playing or
holiday.
collecting any
You
other
too.
card game.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's,
Bye.
I mean, exactly.
Bye.
It's so hard
Take
to
care.
have brand loyalty and then want to move it over to something else.
Bro. Oh
Thank
my
you for
God.
the $200.
Oh my God, dude. That call pivoted from here's what we're going to do about MTG. It like whiplash pivoted from here's what we're going to do about MTG to D&D is going to make us so much fucking money, y'all. Yeah, D&D is where it's at. Don't sell your Hasbro stock. We're going to squeeze the D&D. That's going to make us some money. That's all that shit was about. The last 20 minutes was how much money D&D's going to make them and how they're going to squeeze those customers. D&D players, look out. Here they come for y'all. MTG is, they're like, no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Any other questions there, Arpine? No? Oh, okay. Well, let me talk about the D&D movie.
It was going to be the most highly viewed trailer of all time.
From Paramount,
Yeah,
by the way.
he used a lot of words like, if talking about D&D, you're going to say powerful. If talking about, you know, activate, a lot of words that are like, you know, buzzwords. I do agree that the D&D movie will probably be really good. I think it'll drive some, you know, further exposure to D&D. Here's the thing about D&D. It's like I play D&D. I've been in a campaign for like a year and a half. I played a year-long campaign before that. It's a fun time. I like hanging out with my friends, but D&D is for some people and it isn't for other people. You can enjoy watching a movie about D&D and not want to go out and, you know, play D&D. Will there be some customers that try it out that might enjoy it? And yeah, sure. But I don't think like it's going to bring a ton of people to D&D. Like, just speaking as somebody who plays it and has played with people who like come and go and fall off of it, like it's not for everybody. Especially when you think about like back in the day, you know, D&D came out because you didn't have fully evolved, you know, really crazy video games and stuff where you could just go jump in with your friends, get on a headset and like play a game all night. You know, there's a lot of people that are going to find that more attractive, where you don't have to have a pen and paper and be writing notes and be, you know, writing, oh, what items do I have? I need to keep up with all of this, because there's a computer that does that for you and it's in a game. Just saying. Like D&D is about camaraderie and improv. If you like talking with people and enjoy that interpersonal experience and being like with people in a group physically, you know, then I think D&D is good. But that's just my take on it.
No, I think you're 100% right. The only way for them to truly monetize them outside of continuously selling books that really people don't need after they've got the base books and really only need one copy for your group if you got a copier, or you just download illegal PDFs. The only way to monetize them is to put them in a digital setting and then monetize the digital setting in different ways, skins and such, packs of monsters, you know, different layers. Here's a layer that we specifically made to go with Dungeon of the Mad Skeleton King, whatever it is. And so I'm interested to see, they seemed, based on how many minutes of that 45 minute call they made were dedicated specifically to investors, please don't worry about MTG is going to be fine, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing and we're changing nothing. Hang on though, because let me tell you about D&D and how we're going to milk those MFers for every single thing that we can, and we're going to grow that game even bigger and wider. And did y'all hear that there's a movie coming out? Oh baby, D&D is where it's at. Investors, please don't sell HAS. Please just buy some HAS. Don't worry about MTG.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll bring up the stock price here. I've had it up. It hasn't moved. Hasbro's stock price, actually a little bit of an uptick. It did at 11.25 hit 59. Now it is back up to 620, 59.98, and then up to 620. So a little bit of movement, not a lot of volume today for it, just saying.
Salem with the $5 super chat said, I think they overestimate the money that D&D has as a brand can make and are reaching the limits of how much money they can extract from existing MTG players. That's 100% right, because listen to the call today. They have all of this stuff to say about D&D. Oh, we're going deep in the 4 quadrants. We're coming deep at you. We got all the 4
Magic
quadrants.
Is a 1 quadrant.
Exactly. They didn't say a single thing about here's how we're going to grow MTG. She said, we do 6 sets. We did screw up because of supply chain, not our fault. We did screw up with the temp poles and we had a bunch of stuff all at the same time. But next year we're going to go back to 6 sets spread across 2 months each with individual, what you say, ad hoc sets sprinkled in between. So they have that honestly is like a silent admission. Y'all, we've done what we can. If we go any deeper on MTG, we're just going to alienate everybody. We've gone as deep as we can. We've accessed every player type. You remember they talked a lot about player types at the head of the whole thing. And now we've monetized the shit out of every player type. We can't do anything else for MTG. Let me tell you about D&D. D&D is going to be great.
Joel, I'm so sorry to ask you to do this. I can just barely hear you. Is there any way you can turn down the music on YouTube and turn it up in Streamlabs so that people can still hear it?
No, but I can just stop streaming to you. That should have fixed it right there, yeah?
Yeah, that's way better. That's a lot better. There we go. I can just talk to you now. Yeah, I had it turned down and I'm like barely able to hear you. So yeah, thank you for doing that.
Mr. Vader with the $4.99 super chat said, here's the thing, LGS and retailers should be reviewed in silos because big box chain Amazon skew data when you can undercut mom and pop profits. They did touch on how LGSs are growing and how they're more happy than ever with them. And from everything I've heard from LGSs, we have one LGS in particular that really feeds us all the inside information they've got. And we hear what we hear from Rudy, and we hear what we hear from some of the other YouTube creators that are also shops. That's not what I'm hearing. If they've got some information that we don't. I don't think that they were outright lying in any of this. I think that they were avoiding questions for sure and rerouting the conversation because, dude, when they talked about, dude, the MTG section was nothing. They said it's going great. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. What's M30? I haven't heard
Apex,
of that.
You know, this is on everybody's mind, but, you know, no mention of MTG 30. Apex said, you know, and this is everybody's thinking this, but no mention of MTG 30 or reserve lists or any of that stuff. Any of the weird player sentiment, like this fireside chat about Magic the Gathering, it was none of the intimate details. It's exactly what I kind of expected, which is, you know, very boilerplate, very like, we're going to use a lot of buzzwords to make people feel hyped on it, but we're not going to address any of the, you know, I don't know.
But Jake,
it was
it's
just
not.
It's exactly what I expected.
It's not. I think it's worse than what I expected because it's not even not addressing this stuff. This was a fireside talk about MTG is how it was pitched to us. They touched on MTG and then they pivoted hard because we know this was going to be an investor call. We knew the whole time they were going to start with Wikipedia readings to tell the old people what they were listening about. We knew that. That's how this was going to go. What they did though was push the MTG discussion aside to only talk about D&D and how D&D is what's going to grow Hasbro next. They literally just ignored MTG growth and anything to try and, you know, fix what's going on or fix consumer sentiment or anything. That was ignored fully in lieu of D&D is what's going to do it, y'all. Don't worry. Bear with us. I'm long D&D. Actual quote from Chris Cox.
I mean... Yeah.
MTG
and
Gaming Bob with 369 said, sad day, I've come to the dark side. This is bad. Oh, God.
Bob, thank you for the 69 cents.
Oh, God, here he is.
$3.69. It's good to see you, MTG Gaming Bob. Good morning. Thank you for the super chat. Lots of people hanging out today and lots of support. So thank you so much. We have 666 likes. I would still love to get to 1,069. We've got 2,000 people watching. We still have some more stuff to talk about here.
Let me read this super chat. David Murdoch's super chat at $49.99. Excellent. Thank you so much. Holy crap.
David, thank you.
You're right. Small creators should be passionate about their products. This is why I support Drag the Dead, the video game starring Zane, Adam, and Uncle Hotep. Support indie media. All right. Got in with a little advertisement there for something. I don't know what Drag the Dead, the video game is. We don't endorse it, but I'm sure it's great. And I'm glad you're having a great time with it. Infernate with the $5 Canadian said, all D&D source material can be found online, just like proxying cards. You don't need to pay WotC to enjoy your hobbies.
Yeah, I play all of it over a service called Roll20, and they have everything preloaded into it. Joel, you've been a guest on the campaign a little bit.
Yep.
Fun fact, my character died on like the 2 nights that Joel was in. I don't think it was his fault. I'm glad
you don't think it was my fault.
I had to get it. No, because I remember you being like, I'm afraid that because I played while Jake's character died, he's going to remember this bad experience with me here. No, it was fun.
You can blame it on me.
Well, I do.
I know you do.
That was the subtext. Always kill Joel first if you're in a game with him. No mention of MTG 30. What I would have liked to hear even any mention of is, so a lot of backlash on Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary edition. We're going to take that powerful brand back to the house and we're going to activate it. It's a 1 quadrant kind of thing. And, you know, we're going to see, you know, if we could get it back there, maybe find a price point that's more attractive to people or we're going to, you know, earnestly though, if he were to say something like, we really want to figure out a way to bring reserve list cards to people and have them not be a non-tournament legal thing, or have them be a non-tournament legal thing. So Magic the Gathering 30th Anniversary Edition was a big experiment in figuring out how to do that. We're going to take that idea back and conceptualize it better so that it makes more sense for people. It looks like a lot of people didn't want to engage with that, but there was no talk of it at all. It could have even been a sliver of that. And I would have been happy with it. I would have been like, okay, at least they're addressing it. They have something to say about it. But we didn't get any of that. And so for that reason, I'm out. Sparks Apex with the $3 super chat. Thank you so much. Using Jedi mind trick to say MTG print runs fine. Right.
Apex with the $2 super chat says, is it time to get the torches and pitchforks yet? We've had them, man. We've already had them. We don't like how it's being run at the top. However, the game is going to continue rolling along. We can kick and scream as much as we want, but it will just keep going. At this point, it makes them too much money. You heard the CEO of Wizards talking about, oh yeah, everything, later food time, everything that we're doing right now is great. The only thing that's been the problem is supply chain issues having us release sets at the same time this one time this year. That's it. That's all they said. That, and they're going to scale back. I did see Christian Marble's $5 super chat. They did spend about 20 seconds on 30th edition to say they scaled back printing for collector value. To me, that just, I think that all of that was already printed. I think that all of it's already printed in box. They've just got a lot of it sitting in a warehouse, and we'll see it going very forward.
They basically said suck it.
I'm telling you. They invited us cordially to suck it.
They sidestepped, they avoided, they had one moment where she said, now a lot of players a lot of collectors, she might have said players, she might have said collectors, I would have to go back and see exactly what it was, but she said a lot of collectors are concerned that you're printing too much product, and then that was very quickly shut down with saying that we do this and suggesting it's bad. Clearly you don't understand the brand.
Don't understand the business.
I think what she's saying is we have to pump it out, because the idea is the more we pump, the more fish we can catch. They did mention that important thing that was essentially saying exactly what Universes Beyond is. It's not about bringing different brands to the game to make it more interesting. It's about customer acquisition.
Yeah.
It's about bringing new players to the game, not bringing new stuff to the game to make the game more interesting. Right. It's about catching more fish and hoping that Magic the Gathering is interesting enough to them that their fandom, be it Doctor Who, Walking Dead, Stranger Things, is enough to make them be like, well, I love Will the Wise so much from Stranger Things that I have to have that deck. Will is a character that I love, I identify with, and hopefully that's well, Will has a trading card and you can build a whole deck around him if you want to. That's what it's about. So
she did repeatedly also call everything but the 6 tentpole releases. She referred to them as the 6 tentpole releases of the year. That would be continuing with smaller sets sprinkled in between that are opt-in. So they are very on this messaging that all these products,
smaller sets being Secret Lair, being probably they would say
Universes Beyond, like the Warhammer set, stuff like that. The stuff that leads especially us as creators to extreme fatigue, because we want to address all of it, because regardless of what you're talking about, do you like Will the Wise, you can opt into this. Do you like Universes Beyond Warhammer 40k, you can opt into this. Warhammer 40k had some excellent cards for everyday players, for players that are already enfranchised. So it needs to be addressed. We need to look at it, we need to address the value of it, and we need to see what it does for the collector. So that is, I think, what is leading to so much fatigue is the amount of extra stuff that's being stuck in between the tentpole releases. And they made it very clear that that's not stopping. They made it very clear very quickly that that's not stopping. Oh, by the way, what's gonna grow Hasbro? D&D. MTG's at the peak. We're now gonna grow D&D.
Because Chris Cox, he actually mentioned that. He said that when he joined in 2004, around 2016, he was starting to see 2014, 2016. I would have to go back and listen, but he was saying that that's when MTG as a brand started to plateau. That's the kind of thing where
because they were focused. He said they were too focused on the competitive player. They weren't focused enough on segmenting the different types of players that MTG has and monetizing each one individually. And that's what he said they've been doing so well. Yeah, Corey, the fireside chat was nothing though, so you didn't miss anything. We're kind of recapping it here.
I think we're going to be able to push to 1,069 likes. We're so close.
Let's get to 1,069. Chayadal with the $5 says, will this mean 31st anniversary confirmed? Keep up the good work. Thank you, Chayadal. Probably. It's a Zombie Things Gaming. $2. Yeah, seriously, this right here. 80% of LGSs are growing. Rip my 3 stores that have closed. Seriously. That was an interesting one.
This is a fun comment I want to get to. Jacob says, Jacob Davis, are we sure there's not a conspiracy between Hasbro and YouTube content creators to get Jake and Joel more views? I
Like they're
there's
driving
so
the
much-
brand into the ground just to get
Bro,
us
there's
more
so
views.
Here's the thing: us simply covering whether their success or downfall is going to be. It's just like we're all here for it, right?
It's part of the story. That's what I said
it's
last
just
night.
part of the story.
We knew
This
that
is what-
this most likely was going to be a huge pile of nothing today. I think
There's no conspiracy. They've
No.
teed it up for us.
Right.
They're serving it out on a silver platter.
I was
Like,
I was working the other day and watching Pleasant Kenobi's stream, and I commented, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" And he goes, "Jake and Joel, good to see y'all. Great work, by the way. Numbers, coverage, all of the things that you've said. Really great work with all the 30th anniversary stuff. Y'all have been killing it." And I just commented, "Wizards is making it easy," and hit enter. That was all you need to say.
when did Vince say that? I didn't even hear about that.
Oh, I was
Through
just
Twitter or
I
something?
was just in his stream the other day.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool.
When I was working the other day, I was watching Vince on stream.
Oh, and he streams on Twitch. I don't even,
Correct.
I'm never over on Twitch. So you were watching on Twitch.
Yeah,
Got it.
I watch a lot of Crokies, and so normally when Crokies is done, it's before lunch for me because he's in across the
Yeah.
Atlantic, and I'll watch Aspiring Spike a lot because he plays constructive formats like a fucking boss. And Vince always has a good stream. Good to catch up with him anyway.
Yeah, he and Zach G. Yeah, he did have a nice shout out in the. He
Yeah.
said that
He did.
articulate meandering, which is a beautiful way to describe what we do.
Again, that could be the subtitle of our entire channel. Jake and Joel's articulate meanderings. 199 from the grid said they lie. They said they don't do second market secret layer. Not 100% following you, grid, on that one. Dude man $1.99 said 5-point outline please of Fireside. Couldn't watch. The first 15 minutes was reading from the Wikipedia article for Magic the Gathering so that the old people who were listening to worry if their HAS was going to go down or up could understand what
Yeah.
the hell we were talking about. The next chunk was a bunch of back padding of how well over the last few years they've extracted every single possible dollar they can from us. They've broken us down into different segments, and they have absolutely made sure that our credit cards are on file with them and can be charged at a moment's notice. Then
80% casual, 20%
competitive.
competitive.
Yeah.
Um,
With 50% of us identifying as, I don't know, casual or something. Look, the next part was, she said, people are worried that y'all are printing too much MTG. The CEO of Wizards said, you don't understand the business if that's what you think. We're still going to continue forward with 6 tentpole sets with individual sets sprinkled in, and suck it. And then the fifth point of this outline is they took a hard pivot at the end to very much say, look, Magic, we've got it at the top. We are extracting every dollar. People are seriously they're pressed down by how much we're doing over there. But let me tell you about how D&D, this movie is about to make it more popular. We're about to digitize and have a digital platform that we're going to be able to monetize even harder. We about to extract those D&D dollars, baby, was their last point. And then they were like, thanks everybody, this was great. And then they all kissed, and then the meeting was over. That's pretty much the 5 points.
I mean, this is one thing that I do kind of want to mention. You know, from their perspective, they may just be looking at, you know, the CPI data, the SPY. They might be looking at the economy in general, and they might be saying, look, this time last year, what is today? December what? The 8th. That's
8th.
right, because I have SPY calls that are going to expire today, worthless. So essentially what happened is
I wish I knew what that
last
meant.
year, it means I lost a lot of money.
Oh damn,
so-
that sucks, man. I didn't mean to laugh at you losing money.
No, it's okay. It is. It is. It's gambling. It's a lotto. So this time last year, the SPY was $470. Right now, we're down 75 points from that. Okay. So if you look at Hasbro's chart, if you were to pull up Hasbro's chart and you look at the yearly chart, here it is, Hasbro's yearly. It looks kind of like the SPY, right? Because this time last year, Hasbro was at $100. So if the economy is down, if we are dealing with inflation, if we're going into a recession, Hasbro might be like, fuck it, we're gonna ride it out. We're gonna stay the course with the ship, and as the economy recovers, so will our stock. That is my take of what they're probably thinking over there.
Right.
Is we're gonna stay the course. We're gonna do D&D We're going to do MTG. Our chart, you know, essentially in the past year, Hasbro's down 40%. And in the past year, the SPY is down 15%. So yeah, as the SPY goes up, as the economy recovers, so will the billion-dollar companies. That's pretty much how it works, and that's probably why they're saying, "Suck it."
Yeah, it'll
we
be fine.
invite you to cordially suck it,
Right,
because
it'll be fine.
it will recover.
We have this one little chunk that's going to make us more money. It'll be fine. We know that all those little MTG goblins are going to keep giving us their credit cards because we're going to keep printing it on more expensive card stock. Did you hear him, by the way, blame that card stock's going up? I mean, I'm sure that's actually a concern of their business, but that's funny.
Bro, I'm just going to give you a little anecdote here. I went over to Burbank Sports Cards. Okay, that's where I go to get my sleeves and stuff.
They got the
Sometimes
best
I'll
prices
get
on Ultra Pro stuff.
They have good
Not on
prices.
Ultra Pro, but on the base. What's that brand called? There's a sleeve brand. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, Ultra Pro makes sleeves. Cardboard Gold makes sleeves. Lots of different sleeves out there. But I went over there and dude, 20-minute line to get in the store because there's so many people buying sports cards and graded sports cards and bringing in their sports cards and showing off their sports cards. That's what's so crazy to me, is because Magic is so much more attractive. You can actually play with the card. There's nothing you can do with a sports card other than put it in a slab and be like, oh, look at my freaking sports card. I'm not hating on anybody who collects sports cards.
There was a cool TCG back in the day called The Show, and you actually played baseball. You, like, the pitcher, you would roll a 20-sided die, and based on their stats, like a 19 or a 20 is a strike, and a 8, you know, of 1 to 10 is a ball, and the batter would then roll, and they'd get like a ground out based on their numbers, and it was kind of a D&D thing, but baseball on the cards, licensed with the actual players and teams. Cool for me.
Yeah. No,
MLB
I mean,
Showdown, that's
sweet.
what it was. Yes, thank you. Yeah, dude.
Chat, help us get here, okay? We are at 889 likes. I want to end this video at 1,000. And I got to get out of here in like 10 minutes because I have a dog walk that I need to do.
Click that like button for us.
Yeah, let's hit like here. Let's get there a little bit. And
look, we are going to be discussing this at length on the channel in future videos. We are going to be discussing it in our Discord. Nightbot just dropped a link to our Discord in chat there. You should definitely go hop into our Discord, look around, see if it's the right place for you. If it's not, get out of there. But if it is, dig in, find a chair. We're gonna have a good time. I'm a little shocked. I'm still a little shell shocked that basically they were just like, MTG, all good, suck it. D&D, that's where the money's going to come from, investors. Please don't go anywhere. And then, yeah, Jake, I think their strategy is probably just like, economy will get better, company will get better. Let's not worry about this too much.
Right.
And
exactly.
That's it.
I really think that that's what it is. You know, it's a meme in the stock trading community, but people say always keep your eye on the SPY. Eye on the SPY.
Yeah.
It's the biggest ETF. It takes in, you know, the tech market, all sorts of different markets go into the SPY. And it's a good reading on just the general economy. And then a lot of the time they'll send out Jay Powell to like speak, and he's over at the Federal Reserve, and he will tank the economy. He will send it or tank it. It's all Fugazi crazy, just shit. Inflation, recession, all of it is exactly. It's all fairy dust and Fugazi shit. It really is. It's just like smoke and mirrors. People come out and they speak, and the SPY goes down, it goes up. But as the big, you know, not focusing on the micro, as the macro things start to slowly, like dinosaurs, change, and the gears slowly tick and change, and it takes months, the economy will recover. That's what happens. You know, we might be stuck where we are for like another year, maybe 2 years, but eventually it does become a bull market again. And so I'm sure that that's what Hasbro's thinking about. They're thinking about the macro. They're not worried about the micro. They're just like the day-to-day, whatever. We have been pumping Magic. We've been pumping set boosters. We've been pumping collector boosters. We've been pumping all of this product during a bad economy. Let's continue. Let's see it through. We started collector boosters and all of the secret layer stuff. We started all of that during COVID. Essentially, the bulk of that is like COVID stuff. You know, we were experiencing collector boosters during, okay, they're pumping all of this product while people can't even go to the store and play, right? So I'm sure they're thinking, well, this has been our strategy and this is where we are during COVID, pandemic, and short post-pandemic, or, you know, there's still people getting sick, but
yeah,
whatever, we won't get into that. But you have to think, like, where will it be in a bull market? This is where it is in a bear market. What's it going to be like when the bulls take back over and the price is going up? I'm sure that's what they're thinking about. That's what I would be thinking. I'd be like, well, we're fucked right now, you know?
Michael Vandevel with the $5 super chat said, even if the market research supports the current strategic direction, optics remain bad and complex systems clap fast. Yep, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. The optics still remain bad, and that was a nothing. Probably the vast majority of people won't care about this call at all, or won't care that they're just like, yeah, MTG's gonna stay. It ain't slowing down. You ain't gonna be able to enjoy things anymore, because the week that a set comes out, a week later, we're gonna start previewing the supplemental tiny set, whatever, sprinkled in between. And then a week after that comes out, we'll start previewing the next tentpole set. And, you know, I think you just really have to say, do I like this set? Do I want to engage with this? Do I need to even worry about it? We'll be here covering all of it with bags under our eyes and and sadness in our hearts. But I really think that, you know, nothing's gonna change, especially based on that call. Nothing's gonna change at all. Dude man, $1.99. Oh, I already said that one. Dude man, another $1.99. Wow, thanks justifies non-violent recourse. Yeah, I mean, vote with your wallet. It seems kind of like maybe 30th anniversary voting with our wallet did legitimately work. I bet that when they said that they scaled back production on that set, it was in response to that morning's sale. I bet they were like, all right, we're going to wait until it's literally being sold. Here are our metrics. After 5 minutes, we want this many units. After 10 minutes, this. 15 minutes, this. And then at a certain point, if it doesn't line up with where our metrics are on our chart that we make, we pull it.
We'll pull it.
We're done.
Yeah.
It's basically admitted to here, because there's no way that they reacted to a bunch of us stupid content creators making angry videos and everybody in the comments being all like, burn it to hell. There's no way they reacted to that. They're only going to react to dollars. And so, you know, she literally called the in-between sets opt-in. They don't consider that part of the, you know, thing that's fatiguing us as players. Right. I don't think they really care about enfranchised players too much at all, honestly.
Hey, we got to 1,039 likes.
Hell
this is freaking legendary, people.
Thank y'all so much.
Let's go. And we had a bunch of super chats today, which have been incredibly generous. I'm just going to highlight these two that are still up here. Bryce, thank you again for that $200 super chat. That is absolutely massive and helps a big way in us making this a full-time thing. It really is a blessing and such a pleasure to hang out with all of you this morning and get to spend this time. I know that the news wasn't great today, but this was still a fun stream to me, and it's still part of the story. It's absolutely still part of the story that is still ongoing. Sorry to interrupt, Jake. No, that's okay. Of course. And then David also with the $50 super chat. Thank you so much. And there was a myriad of other super chats and a lot of support from chat today. So thank you so much for that. It keeps us doing these. We're going to keep doing these streams whenever there's announcements and that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you want to spend your money on MTG, you want to spend your money on MTG, kind of, but not directly on MTG, and support Wizards of the Coast, why don't you send it our way? Link to our Patreon is up there at the top of the chat.
Here we go.
Honestly, Patreon members are what is pushing us towards making this full time. We've got a small, little tiny light at the end of the tunnel that may open up next year that Jake and I can go full time on this. And so it's honestly y'all that make it possible. Y'all are our bosses. Y'all are our shareholders. And honestly, MTG's fine. D&D's where we're going to make our money. No, I was just doing my great Hasbro impression there. If you want to support us, if you want better videos, more streams, better streams, more videos, better videos, go support us on Patreon.
Powerful videos that
powerful
activate.
Videos. Yeah. All 4 quadrant videos. You want
If you
videos
want
that are
4
deep in
quadrant,
all 4
that's a good way to
quadrants?
say it, Joel. If you want to make Jake and Joel a 4 quadrant sector,
Yeah, dude.
hit us with that patron subscription. If you want to keep it a single quadrant, then feel free to keep hanging out in chat. No, we appreciate all of you so much. That $1.69 super chat, thank you, Marshall, as well. Yeah,
Axel,
dude,
I'm
it's-
with you. Let's ride the fireball of a plane down together. That's exactly what we will be doing here. And I've told you, I've said in previous videos of covering all this bullshit, Magic is going to survive Hasbro. Magic is going to survive Wizards of the Coast. Magic is going to survive the apocalypse when we're huddled in our around our fireplaces, avoiding the noise monsters. I'm going off a little Jim from The Office lore here of what ends the world. When we're trying to not look outside because Cthulhu will drive us to suicide, we're going to be playing Magic inside, playing Cthulhu and being like, haha, it's so funny that he's outside threatening us. And we're playing the secret layer Cthulhu commander here. How much commander damage is that?
Apex, there will always be a vlog of this in our past live streams. So if you want to come back and watch this, it will be on a playlist. I did not feel the respect. Sadly, I do need to get out of here. Joel, you feel free to keep it going, but I need to skedaddle because
I gotta get back to IRL work. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Hop into our Discord here. I'll drop the link for y'all one more time. If you haven't joined our Discord, there it is right there. Let's go chat.
Tons of subscriptions today. Massive amount of subs.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Joel, do we have a sub list?
Sub list. I can go off of this one, but I don't think it's complete. And it's massive. Lots of people subbed today. We appreciate everybody who subbed.
Cool.
Seriously.
Thank you all so much for hanging out. There
David,
will be
that's
more
what we
streams
try to
like
do.
this. We have more vids coming out in the future. Lots of stuff. So
Yep. We'll be back next Wednesday with the final stream of me and Jake together for the year. We're going to be doing Brothers War Collector Booster Foil Quest. So come out and watch 6 patrons try to hit serialized retro artifacts or foil shattered glass transformers. That's what we're going to be trying to pull next Wednesday at about 9 or 9:30 Eastern time. So make sure you mark that on your calendars. Past that, we love y'all. Mean it. We outie.
Yep. We'll see you later. Have a good day. It's what is today? It's Thursday.
Almost Friday, baby.
Boneless BOGO wings today at Buffalo Wild Wings. I might go get them during my break.
Celebrate those spy calls.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're funny, man.
That's the only joke I'm going to make about it. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right. See y'all later.